Hey guys, it's Miss Young, and you're going to be taking notes over the French and Indian War. At this time, you should have a graphic organizer directly in front of you. And we're going to cover all the ins and outs of the French and Indian War, just kind of like you just did with your research. So let's get started. All right, so let's start out with what happened. What happened during this French and Indian War? So you need to be writing this down on your paper, exactly like you see it. No shortcuts. You're not experts, so write exactly what you see. I promise you, I have taken out everything that is unnecessary already. All right, so what happened? Well, we wanted land, and the French were on it. Okay, we're a pretty selfish group at this time. I mean, think about it. We're still British colonists, and we want this land. We want to expand our empire. We were fighting over the land as well as the fur trade industry. It was making a lot of money, and the French were in our way. This actually marks the end of the French Empire and the beginning of the English domination. So the French being in North America, or excuse me, in what will eventually be the United States, they're gone. They're just in the north now, in Canada type area. And England is starting to take over most of the continent. Or yes, most of the continent, okay? This occurs from 1754 to 1763, and it's within the Ohio River Valley region. So if you look at the map here, the circle is it's actually circling the Ohio River Valley. That blue line represents the Ohio River. Okay, also the location would be the northwest borders of the British colonies. So the northwest, okay, if you have your compass rose, northwest is going to be right over here, like that. So if we were to do that, this northwest region, okay, so this is pretty much, this is the danger zone right here, this area right here, because we want that land, we want that fur trade, and the French are in our way. So again, west of the Appalachians. Just a bunch of different ways to describe this location. Okay, move on when you're ready. All right, so why did this occur? Why were we fighting? Okay, so maybe a little bit more of the same. But again, fighting over the Ohio River Valley for farming. Remember, if you're near a river, that area of land is going to be extremely fertile. Okay, we're not necessarily right up in the mountains at this point. If you remember that map you just saw, and I'll go ahead and show you your map, the Ohio River Valley is west of the Appalachians. This land right here is extremely fertile, and it's really good for farming. Another reason is the British wanted the fur trade. We wanted land, and France had it. Okay, what is the result or the effect of this war? Oh, there's our arrow. Ohio River Valley. You have to know this area of land, by the way. Super important. Pretty sure it's on your test. All right, so let's start writing. The result of the war is it ends with the signing of what we call the Treaty of Paris of 1763. This is one of two treaties that are called the Treaty of Paris. Now this one is 1763. This marks the beginning of our problems that lead up to the American Revolution. So we signed this treaty in the city of Paris in the year of 1763, hence the name Treaty of Paris 1763. In doing so, in signing this treaty, the war is officially over and we gain the Ohio River Valley. So now all of this is ours for sure, okay? There's a problem. The king is broke. War is extremely expensive. Okay, he is sending people from England over here to fight his war, okay, because this is still British. This is all British right here, and he runs the show. Even though the people, the colonists, are living there, it's technically the king's land, and he's needing to protect it. And when he protected it during the French and Indian War, he lost a lot of money because war is expensive. He's sending those soldiers over. He is sending equipment and supplies over. He is spending money to win a war. So in order to pay off his war, he starts taxing the colonists. Now, if you've ever been to the store and let's say you buy a pack of gum for $1, but it says $1 on the sign, but when you get to the register, you pay $1.08. Yeah, that 8 cents is called taxes, and it goes to the government to pay for other things. It's what's been going on for years. So the king is starting to tax the colonists to help pay off the French and Indian War. The next problem is the Indians do not care about a stinking treaty. They don't care what the king has to say. They don't like the colonists, and they want them to stay off their land, so the Indians keep fighting. So we as colonists want to go this way into our new land, and the Native Americans are pushing back, and they don't want us in their land. So we have disputes falling out all along this new area, this edge right here of new land that we have. It's a problem. And like we said, war is expensive. War is expensive, and so the king is having to send people over to keep the Native Americans from fighting these colonists who just simply want to go to the land that they just obtained in this war. They fought the war, so they want the land. So finish off these notes if you haven't done so already, and move on when you're ready. All right, so how is the French and Indian War a cause of the American Revolution? What has happened within this war and the events following after that make us so upset that we feel the need to go to war? Now, the American Revolution is a battle between the colonists and the British. Don't forget, these are British colonists. These are the English colonies. They have decided that they are so sick of dealing with the king that we're going to go to war with the very people that created our colonies because we are so done. And there's 4 major reasons that make us done. For starters, we gain confidence and we realize we don't have to be pushed around by this king and his people. Okay? For the first time, we fight as a group, not as just individual pockets of colonies. Okay? So prior to this, we see ourselves as just the Virginia colony, or just the Georgia colony, or just the New York colony. We don't see ourselves as a unified group of colonies. We just see ourselves as different pockets. But we fought for the same purpose, and so we start to feel unified. The second reason this is considered a cause is because the king, after all of our fighting, and we win the land, and we sign the treaty, and it's officially ours, the king refuses to let us settle in our new land because the Indians won't leave us alone. So if you remember before and how the Indians are coming and attacking us as we're trying to move west and settle in our new land, they don't care about a treaty. The Native Americans could care less. They just want you out of their land. So they keep fighting. Now, don't forget, the king is in debt. He is broke because he spent a lot of money on the resources and supplies to win the French and Indian War. So he doesn't have what it takes to send over to us from England across the Atlantic Ocean to get to us to help keep the Native Americans off of our backs. So he decides to create the Proclamation Line of 1763. Notice in the word proclamation, there is a root word in there, and that root word is proclaim, to make an announcement. Okay, so that's exactly what the king did. He made an announcement that this line, which you'll see in a minute, is designated as your barrier. Okay, you are prohibited to pass it. The colonists were prohibited from moving west to the new land that they just fought for and family members died to win. Now they can't go over and settle there? Are you kidding me? So we are continuing to increase our frustrations and detest towards the king. Finally, as I've mentioned before, because Britain is broke, the king starts to tax the colonists to pay for war. Okay, so he starts to raise the prices on things, and that extra little bit of money is coming back to him to help pay off the debt for the war we fought. Okay, a war that he started, that we did not start in the colonies. Remember, he's 2 months across the ocean. And we're paying him for something that we didn't ask for. He did it. We fought. We win. Now we don't get land, but we're going to pay you back for the war. Yeah, we're getting really ticked off. Okay? And why does the king do all this? Because that's how he rolls. Because he can. And what are you going to do? Okay? He's got British soldiers all up in the colonies, keeping everybody in check because folks are starting to talk. Okay, so pause if you need to and move on when you're ready. All right, so let's take a look at a map here so you can have an idea of what this proclamation looked like. So let's start out. Here are our colonies. Okay, if you can kind of see the outline just a little bit right along that edge. The colonies are not near as developed as our current day states. Okay. So here are all of our colonies, all right? There's the 13, okay? Now, 13 colonies. We just won a bunch of land. We want to jump over this way and get all up in this new farmland that we can be rich off of, as well as the fur trade. And keep in mind, you have Native Americans who like, I don't think so, get off my land, okay? They don't care about the treaty. So they're pushing back, and you got all this conflict going on. Here's the king. Here's what he does. He creates the proclamation line. It's literally a line where British soldiers stand at it. Okay, let me back up. It's not a literal line. Well, I mean, I guess it could be a line. But you have British soldiers plotted along this line, okay? Let's just say they're plotted, a bunch of them, maybe 1,000, 2,000 plotted along this line, so that if a colonist should decide to pass by and get across this line, they either shot you or sent you back, okay? So this line is the proclamation line of 1763. It keeps the colonists out, or it tries. So look at this other picture. Here's the little illustration of the proclamation line. So you have your colonist here who's trying to settle in the new land. See how his wagon is full of, a chair and moving stuff, all right, his furniture. He's trying to get over here to the new land, and the British soldiers are like, no, you do not pass go, do not collect $200, okay? So he can't go. The British soldiers won't let him. And the sign says, keep out. Can't go to the Appalachians. This is a problem. They just fought a war. Their buddies died trying to get this land, and now they can't go there? What do you think? Okay, so think about this. News travels really slow. So there's a really good chance that some of these colonists have already set up over here. And you already got yourself a little homestead going. And all of a sudden the king's like, oh my gosh, I can't handle the Indians. You're going to have to go back. You think the colonists were like, well, golly gee whiz, I'm sorry, let me go back. No, not at all. They're like, forget you. I fought for this land. Now force me off. So, again, causing conflict between the British soldiers and the colonists. Tension is rising. So, to sum this up, hear ye, colonists are angry at the king. Why? Because he's taxing us to pay for the war he wanted, and now he won't let us go to land we fought for because he doesn't want to deal with the Indians. Yeah, problem. This is a problem. So, what you're going to do now is you're going to glue your notes in. Going to glue your notes in. All right, you've already done your research, and you're going to glue along the spiral. So you're going to slap some glue all over. These notes can go all the way down. You don't have to worry about gluing along the spiral edge, and you just slap that puppy down there, okay? Should time allow, we will have a quick write. Okay, so pause if you need to, move on when you're ready. So here's your quick write. Yes, you must use the P strategy. A point, an explanation, or excuse me, evidence and explanation. You only have to provide one supporting evidence per question. So, question 1. Why is the French and Indian War considered a cause of the American Revolution? Oh my goodness. It's in the notes. Read it. Next one. Would you go to war over the results of the French and Indian War, and why? When you're done, let your teacher know.